I feel like I have like a period piece face is what it is. It's like they can morph this to look like what the girls used to look like. I don't know
Which
what
is,
it is.
it's you're much like a chameleon, because I remember meeting you. I interviewed you on some premiere a couple of years ago at the Chinese theater in LA, and you had like you had the short black hair. I remember it was like shorter lane last time.
Oh, did I have a bunch of tattoos everywhere?
Most people around here call this place home because everywhere else there's a price on their head.
What the hell are you doing here? I did this on my own. I'll cut her from one ear to the other, I swear.
There's no need for violence here.
I'm gonna take the girl, and we're gonna be on over. How to give you more free booze.
Hey Scott, how's it going?
Hi Jim, how are you?
Good. I just looked at myself in a camera. Geez, I look like I'm from the 90s with my hair. Holy shit.
I was gonna say bye 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 bye.
Totally. Yeah, like an NSYNC. Jeez, I need a haircut badly.
Oh, it's great. I just met Joey from NSYNC, and I
Oh, really?
starstruck.
You still had that moment, the starstruck moment?
Oh, yeah, I did. It's so weird with me. I avoid people that I want to meet. That's what I do. I avoid, and I was at a con and I avoided him all weekend until the last second. I was just like, I'm a big fan of yours. I love you. How are you doing?
Was he cool at least, or?
Oh, he's so great. And now I wish I spoke to him all weekend. I was like, God, you're awesome.
That's so cool though. Well, you had that experience, right? Your childhood coming back up to years later, right?
Exactly.
How are you? How is life? How is everything going on?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great. I've been busy. I had now have a little kind of time off before I start my next stuff. I just went to Zion, which was so awesome to ski.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Have you ever been?
No.
Oh, it's so beautiful. If you've never been, you must go. It's one of my favorite places to kind of unwind.
Was that your first time, or no? You've been?
No, I've been so many times.
Oh, okay, so you're like a regular, basically, right?
Yeah, I'm a regular.
There you go. Well, at least you got your spot. That's what matters.
Exactly.
It's funny because I spoke to Stu on Friday, and I haven't seen him in a film in a while too. So he had a little hiatus, right?
Yeah, he did. I mean, I think he became a dad.
Yeah, that's I found out. He raising kids and all that.
Yeah, I think the industry can do that to you sometimes. I don't know if it's necessarily family or if you kind of just get over this industry and you're like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna have a break. I'm over this, and I'll come back when I'm, a lot of people exit and then come back. It's so strange. But I get it. Being in this industry, I get it.
I mean, I gave him a lot of props. I'm like, you probably kept your sanity, and now you can actually, because sometimes when people just get too into it, like you're here today and gone tomorrow, you get that, actually took a break, come back and refocus and restarting a new chapter. I was like, good for you.
Yeah, right. Good for him. He was such an amazing guy to work with, honestly. Stuart just has this calming energy about him. He's such a spiritual man, like myself. So it was really nice to that was the one character that I was kind of with the majority of the time. So it was nice that we got along and our chemistry was really good.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, I enjoyed you two on screen together. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was this your first Western?
No, it is not. I've done a couple of Westerns, actually.
Really? I haven't seen them. I've seen a lot of your work, but I have not seen those. I'm like, this is so interesting to see you in this genre. I kind of liked it.
Oh, thank you. I love doing it. I feel like I do a lot of period pieces, whether it's
Yeah, you've done period pieces. That's right.
Yeah. I feel like I have a period piece face is what it is. It's like they can morph this to look like what the girls used to look like. I don't know what it is.
You're much like a chameleon, because I remember meeting you. I interviewed you on some premiere a couple of years ago at the Chinese theater in LA, and you had you had the short black hair. I remember it was like shorter lane last time.
Oh, did I have a bunch of tattoos everywhere?
You might have. I think so, actually.
Sleeves, yeah. Oh, I was filming a TV show called Rosewood, and I had they put on all these tattoos, and I had sleeves of tattoos.
And I was like, wow, you I remember wow, you completely went different with your look.
I think good about an actor is that, you know, even when I go to like these cons or whatever, people don't recognize me. Sometimes people will come up to my table and they'll be like, do you know where Scout is? And I'm like, oh, I'm right here. They're like, you look completely different. I know, like any color, any length, it just kind of makes me look like a different person.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. You just now with this current hair color, you look even younger. For me, it's like you're back to 25.
Oh, thank God. Thank you. Keep going. Thank you.
You know, I'm curious too, but when we're just on your look right now, I don't know why, but I always, whenever I think of you, it just like I also get an image of Shailene Woodley pop up. Do you guys get ever? Do you ever get?
Oh my God. Yeah. I do get that. I do get that. I actually just saw her not too long ago. Yeah, I think we also have like a similar personality.
Yes, too. Yep. I just think of both of you at the same time when it just comes up.
Oh, well, she's great, so I'd love that.
Yeah, and well, she's dating well too, you know, with the NFL quarterback.
I know. Her love life is great. She's got it all. Good.
Yeah. To aspire to be. You know, I'm curious about this film in a sense. I asked Stu this, like, how does it feel when you do, like, you've done period pieces in that sense too, but is there something different when you're kind of in a Western? Does it transport you when you get on that set? I'd always imagine that's one set that's completely different than any other, I'd imagine, you know, because it takes you to like a whole different century in a sense. And this movie looks like it obviously took place in a different century. Do you get that feeling as an actor too?
Oh my God. I mean, I think this is like one of the genres that I love to do the most because of that. It's like almost like you don't have to do any work because you have so much like in the atmosphere, from the costumes to the makeup to the wigs to the sets and to the props that you're given, the horses, the extras, and it's all completely different than what you're used to seeing. So it's just like an environment like push, you know, for you. I mean, there's so much going on as an actor. So it's just like kind of like you can just plop anybody in and you're like, you're there and you feel it, you know?
Yeah, I'd imagine that'd be such a cool thing, you know? And it's like Stu's like, yeah, it's like you dream as a kid playing cowboys and all that. And it's like, then you're kind of thrust into it. And it's like your childhood comes full circle.
I felt that even from like the first costume fitting. You know, Stuart and I went to like this big like costume, like it looked like every costume from every century that you could possibly imagine, and they were just like plucking costumes away, and then Stuart and I would like change into these things, and we like instantly were like, oh, okay, this is gonna be easy, this is awesome, like we're these people.
Tell me how cool, and I've spoken to Thomas, but how cool is it working with this guy? Because I'd imagine he'd be one of those actors. Thomas Jane is like a treasure in itself. I mean, he's got a great personality, but what is he kind of like on set and just interact with?
Oh, dude, I love that. He is a treasure. He's like this unique treasure that you
yes.
Like there is no one like Thomas, like at all. He is. You know, it was really fun watching him because he's one of those actors that they're very, very prepared. Like he even brought his own pipe that he wanted to use. Yeah, and I thought that was so cool and so interesting. But he's just so natural. He just is, you know? It's like so easy for him to just kind of like chime into these characters. I would find myself kind of distracted when I was like filming with him because I would get lost because I would just be like watching him and just be like, oh my God, man, like how are you just making it look so effortless?
Yeah, and it's like the man can do like anything. I mean, I'm like watching him this way. I'm like, this is the guy that was on Hung, you know, like the school teacher from Hung. I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah, he's got some of the cool like one-liners in this movie.
Yes,
like, he really does, and he pulls it off real well.
It's phenomenal, you know, all around. And I'm glad you've done it. You know, like I wonder about those dresses because that's another thing about the genre, like the tight dresses. Did you have one of those like incredibly uncomfortable dresses where they pin you down at the waist and you're like barely breathing and all that?
Oh, pretty much all of them. Well, because I had to wear the corset. So it was like 3 or 4 layers underneath my top layer.
Oh
so
even
if I didn't want to sit up straight, I didn't have a choice. I was just like kind of designed like this. It was like I couldn't really my body just moved in one motion, you know. But I think what surprised me, and I didn't really know that women wore this back then. I kind of describe it as the Cinderella they had in the back. So what went over my corset was this pillow that I tied to my waist,
Wow.
and it like hung on the back of my back and just added it was like a butt pillow, and it just added a poof.
That's
When
amazing.
it was so weird. I was just like, wow, like women really like they like tried their hardest with this. I never had to have someone help me get dressed before, and I could not put on any of this stuff without someone.
Imagine this on a daily basis. That's like your attire, no.
Yeah, I roll
Wow.
out of bed majority of the time and wear what I wore to bed out. It was like, that's me, you know? I
You
couldn't help it.
see, you appreciate what we have today, right?
Yeah, totally. 100%. I appreciate sneakers and leggings.
Yeah, well, so easy and quick versus that. But now you have that experience, you can say that you've done that in a film too. So,
Exactly.
I'd be remiss to say it's like we're heading into October. I always think of this as like not only Halloween season figuratively and literally, but there's always the Halloween movies that come up. And of course, we have a new one coming up again. Do you get transferred back into like every October, like people bringing up you being in Halloween and all that stuff?
Oh, yeah. I know. I recently went, there's this, I didn't know this was planned, but there was a Beetlejuice. It's like a Beetlejuice restaurant here.
Oh,
And I was like,
wow.
oh, I want to go. And I, contacted them. I was like, I would really love to come bring some friends. And they're like, yeah, we'll set you up. And as soon as I entered, it was like Rob Zombie was playing, Devil's Rejects, and then I went into the other room and we were having dinner, and then all I heard was like the theme music for Halloween, and I was like, oh, okay. And then they later on like told me, they were like, yeah, we planned all of that. I was like, oh, okay.
Wow.
Every time I hear it, sometimes I'm like, I look around just to kind of see.
It haunts you still in your everyday life.
Yeah, it does.
That's amazing.
But it's at least it's a cool tone. I love it.
It's for me, it's the most iconic like horror theme there is for sure.
Yeah, 100%. I know. I'm about to go to Universal. They have a Michael Myers maze, and Universal, they still use my Scream. So
They do on in the experience thing?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Experience. Yeah. So that'll be a really fun one too. The theme with my Scream, it'll be like I'm back in the movie.
You haven't done it's your first time doing this thing?
No, I did. I went the first year that they did it, when it was closer to my movies. So that was, I didn't know that they were using my Scream. So when I went in and all I heard was myself, I was like, oh, this is like out of body experience.
I could imagine. Are you going to see the new movie? Do you still follow? Because there've been a few incarnations since. So we have the new one coming in 2 weeks.
Oh, 100%. I saw the 2018 one. I mean, I love Jamie Lee. I absolutely adore her. And I was also curious to how she would continue it. And she's exactly how I imagine it would be. And I'm so happy that Jamie and Laurie are just badass. It's like a bitch, which I love.
Kind of reminds me of Sarah Connor in Terminator,
Totally.
Yeah.
I think that was like one thing I'm sure Jamie had, she's like, I'm not going to come back and play victim. If you want me back, this is how I'm going to be. I can imagine her. That's
so cool. And like I said, this Michael Myers never dies and this franchise never dies. It's just amazing, And
horror never dies. Horror will never die.
Never die. One thing I was going to ask you, I read somewhere, remember, was your dad a mortician at some point? Is that what it was? Or
yes.
Any person, much less, how do you grow up in a household like that at a young age? Does that become normal to you, or?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Is like when we're raised, it's like what you're raised in is normal to you, and it never really occurred to me until I was telling like my friends my stories in my late 20s, and I was like, oh yeah, this shit isn't that normal. Oh, okay, but it was completely normal to me, like seeing dead bodies all the time. And my dad was also a coroner, and you know, he also like investigated the cases. So it's like that was just like a normal like childhood for me. But now looking back on it, I was like, whoa, that's like my first are very odd. It's not like, you know, like my prom didn't look, my first kiss, like all that stuff didn't look normal. But I think that's that's what created me and like who I am today. And you know, maybe that's kind of why the horror genre kind of fits me a little bit.
I think life works in mysterious ways. It was almost predetermined destiny, you know, it seems like. You were used to this before you saw it all on set. So there you go.
Well, I'm not scared of horror movies, so that's because I've seen the real thing, you know, I've seen like bodies and stuff. So that's kind of like maybe the one thing that's kind of negative that like takes me out of like a horror movie is because I have seen that kind of stuff. Is you know, like the gore and like all that stuff kind of doesn't look real to me, just because and also too I filmed it. So I get more into, oh, how'd they do that prosthetic? Oh, that's so cool that they did that prosthetic. Yeah, look at the tube's probably here, you know.
Hey, you enjoy the small things. There you go.
Yes, exactly.
Well, we're out of time, but this was a blast catching up with you, and it's so cool to see you doing well and doing well in film too. So keep it up. I know you have a ton of projects coming up, and hopefully I get to run into you in person soon.
Yes, thank you, Jim. So good seeing you again.
You too, and I'll have a better haircut next time, promise.
No, it looks great. I love it.
Thanks, Scout.
Bye,
have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.